One evening a man claiming to be Carol's long-lost first husband Roy Martin shows up at the suburban Brady residence. The Bradys believe his story about suffering from amnesia and having plastic surgery after being injured. Mike has been planning a surprise second wedding, renewal of vows for himself and Carol for their anniversary present. And Roy's arrival throws the Bradys into chaos. Throughout Roy's stay he is openly hostile to the Bradys, albeit with his sarcasm and insults completely going over their heads. Peter, who is trying to decide on a career path, begins to idolize and emulate Roy, which gets him into trouble at the architecture firm where Mike works. Peter later mentions Roy talking about the big house, and Mike, who learns that it means prison, starts becoming suspicious. Greg and Marcia both want to move out of their shared rooms, and when neither wants to back down, they have to share the attic together. When Roy's arrival suggests that Carol and Mike might not be married, Greg and Marcia wonder whether they are not technically related. This leads them to separately realize they are in love with each other, which they try to hide from one another. Bobby and Cindy start a detective agency to hunt down her missing doll. Upon finding it, they stumble upon a photo revealing the truth about Roy. That he is actually a con man named Trevor Thomas, and is there to steal a familiar horse statue that is actually an ancient artifact worth $20 million. The kids reveal Trevor's plans to Carol and confront Trevor, who, realizing his cover is blown, kidnaps Carol, taking her with him to Hawaii, where he plans to sell the artifact to a buyer named Dr. Whitehead, and ties Alice and the kids up to keep them from intervening. Mike, who's now fully aware of Trevor's deception, alerts the police, frees Alice and the children, and the family flies to Hawaii to save Carol and foil Trevor's plans. In Hawaii, Carol manages to escape from Trevor and finds her way to Dr. Whitehead's estate before Trevor gets there. It turns out Trevor was responsible for the boating accident that led to the disappearance of Dr. Whitehead's son Gilligan and Carol's first husband, a professor. In Dr. Whitehead's words, "The minnow is lost," and he refuses to pay Trevor for the horse. Trevor attempts to hold Dr. Whitehead and Carol at gunpoint for payment, but Mike and the family arrive just in time to intervene, and after a brief scuffle between the two men, Mike quickly gains the upper hand and subdues Trevor, who is subsequently arrested. Dr. Whitehead offers to pay the Bradys the $20 million for the horse, but Mike declines the offer, claiming it's a symbol of their togetherness. Cindy gives him her doll to console him, after almost losing her mother. She has outgrown it. Jan, who made up a pretend boyfriend named George Glass in order to make herself seem more popular, meets a real boy named George Glass during the family's trip to Hawaii, and they become a couple, as Mike and Carol renew their vows in a ceremony held at their home. Marcia agrees to let Greg have the attic to himself until he goes to college, and the two share one last on-screen kiss before returning to being brother and sister. The movie ends with Carol tossing the bouquet, and a genie named Jeannie arriving just in time to catch it. She then claims to be Mike Brady's first wife, much to Mike and Carol's dismay.